Alright, hello gamers and scholars, it's your boy Kato Ignis here. You know me as the fucking Eldritch Abomination that blesses and curses timelines with random Toho memes. I'm here today to discuss the new Hololive alternative long version trailer, and it's got some great animation unlike my model over here. Anyway, so I have formulated a few theories about what's going on here, and I just want to go over that with everyone, just so we're all prepared for the future of what I think is about to happen. I don't mean to be the biggest pessimist, but oh my god, dude, I have some worrying concerns. All right, let's get into it. So we're gonna do a bit of animation analysis and breakdown of everything that's really going on. So the first thing to note, right? Callie is a great singer. Second of all, for our first scene, the stage is kind of set with this, what seems to be a real world location with Sora standing in it, right? And this is important because the rest of the short kind of takes place in a fantasy world, while this is more of the real world. Well, a kind of real world. In other words, I'm pretty sure that the rest of this short takes place in Isekai. Yeah, okay, Isekai doesn't compel a lot of confidence, but it's not like it could all be bad, right? We get a little bit of English that's a little bit on the nose. Are you receiving this transmission? Have you ever wanted to visit a place that's a world apart? It's guaranteed that, and with the lyrics, that we're gonna be getting into an isekai here. So next we see this white dove, right? And I'm using the wrong keybinds for this. Bam. Okay, sunlight shines down on Sora, the clouds part for her, and then she sees a fucking holy white glowing bird fly into the sun. This could be a metaphor for a lot of things, but consider the fact that the singer is the fucking disciple of death. Alright, and maybe Sora visits Truck-kun and goes to an isekai. I don't know. That's probably not true based on what we see later. All right, we get some very nice sets. What's significant about this one in particular is, just fucking think about it. The apprentice to death is a singer, and we get this giant death statue, like giant Grim Reaper statue, like, dude. All right, so this is a city of angels, which means we might be getting some world building here for the Hololive universe, in that we might meet Kanata's people, I'd say. Alright, Fubuki overlooks. This is this tree and this gate seem to be the same place as this from earlier in the montage. Here, yes, here. It seems to be the same kind of place. So Fubuki walks over here alone. There's some kind of symbolism here, right? We've got this big white circle. We've also got the white birds and the black birds again. This may be just for aesthetic. This is some let me make sure the quality of the video is high as possible. This might be just a really banger desktop screensaver. Another thing to note here is that even though it's like the same tree and it's got the same aesthetic because of what I assume to be the same aesthetic because of the gate, it seems that this is a bit of a barren landscape compared to before. So maybe like, and we see a lot of similar landscapes that seem to have undergone a long period of change. Anyway, we get this image, which I will get back to later, but it seems to be a photo being taken Anyway, now we're back into the real world, or the real-ish world. I'd say original world, I guess. And now we're in fantasy world. I'd just like to say, damn this animation. I really like how the plates are animated on fucking earlier here when she's unsteady. It's not with her until she falls down, the plates fall down with her. I really like that. And also, where'd the cat come from? Oh, she tripped on the cat. Okay. But damn, this fucking animation is top quality, okay? And it only gets better. So here we see Kanata falling down into a certain city. This city seems to be... Right, we see a house off to the side here, so obviously Kanata is falling out of the angel's place, right? But earlier in the trailer, when Kanata, or not Kanata, Sora first appears in the alternate world, we get this city, right? This city surrounded by walls with a giant fucking glowing sword that appears later. And now when Kanata is falling, we don't see that, we don't see the sword, but we do see the walled city. I'm thinking maybe it's covered by something, or maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. Also, shoutouts to the Hololive logo shaped lens flare. Alright, now we see Miko. She's got, it looks like the same Sakura tree, right? Or it could be a different one, but it's got that same shape to it. But this time it's on some kind of digital screen, which makes me think Miko starts out in here. Or at least her story starts here, because this is what matches the aesthetic the most, or it could be just something completely different. We don't know anything about this yet. Now we get another place where it seems that the moon is in a cage, right? And I'm thinking that this is the actual real moon. Like, there's only one moon, this is the one in the cage, or maybe there's two moons, because in this world, the other moon looks different. Or maybe there's multiple worlds. We don't know yet. So here, we have Rushia dancing with butterflies. And then we get a shot of Choco's tattoo. Before we get a picture of Choco herself. She's got a skeleton in the background. So it seems like she's a doctor in this world as well, but also the skeleton is possibly not a model because of what we see later. Then we see this. This is very interesting because so far everything here has been fairly fantasy with the exception of Miko's background. But here we see a destroyed city, and it seems pretty futuristic because I have no idea what the fuck that pyramid would be used for. And we have Roboco. And now we have this scene. This is a very interesting scene. The moon does not normally look like that. Alright, and as we move on, I'm thinking that this place, similar to the place with the big tree, but maybe somewhere else, or somewhere near it, or maybe some time has passed. Anyway, obviously these two sense something, I don't know how, sense something, and it appears on the horizon just below the moon. And it is Ayame, who is evil, I guess. Fubuki pulls a sword out of nowhere, and now we see Coco. She breathes in. Shion decides, fuck this rock in particular. I've watched this so many times trying to figure out what the fuck Shion is doing. The effects on this are great. She's just having fun, I guess, and decides to fuck up this particular rock. And And now we get this beautiful Sakuga where the background and flare are moving on different frames. The background's moving on ones, flare's moving on twos. This is great. It's beautiful, it's smooth. It hits Coco's tail, which is moving on fucking ones. Every single frame there's a new drawing. It's extremely dynamic, and we see Noelle getting just in the way, just as the tail slams into frame. Oh, that's great. You can see Coco's tail blur here. It's extremely thick. It takes up like half the screen, and then as it makes an impact with Noelle, the rest of the screen gets this huge, you know, earth shatter, and Coco's tail shrinks from the impact. Right, and as for character here, damn the character. Noelle has dropped everything to stop this. Doesn't budge an inch, like at all. She doesn't move here. Everything else moves except for her and Noelle, or except for Noelle and Flare. Right, if Flare doesn't even flinch for the tail that she just shot at, because Noelle's got her. And up goes the Kiryu. I kind of wish there wasn't this much blur, but in motion, this looks amazing. Alright, now we also, so after this Dragon Breath from Kiryu, which we will see later again, we get this fight scene between Mio and Fubuki and Ayame, right? So it seems Mio is fighting with her bare hands while Fubuki is using a sword. Ayame has two swords. And Mio seems to be just missing, right? You see, Ayame, her line of sight is on Fubuki, right? She's moving backwards, low to the ground, as Fubuki, you know, is striking at her, trying to deflect and move off, right? And Mio, here in the foreground, runs at her, dives at her, misses, and lands on both feet. And then she turns around, closes her eyes, does a kick, and misses again. I don't think Mio's a very good fighter. Fubuki, however, is surprising Ayame, which to Ayame's joy proves to be a challenge, I guess, because Fubuki seems to be overwhelming Ayame, constantly pushing her back. Then we see these two spirits come out of her, blue Oni, red Oni, obviously. What else? And it goes to cover the moon. At first I was like, oh, the moon is like a symbol, but no, it's literally just the moon shining through this stand, I guess. And this is an Ayame stand because it does have horns on it. And it does have a similar hairstyle, I suppose. And then we get this final shot of their fight. Fubuki readies her sword, Mio gets ready to charge forward, they attack as one. Mio has some kind of magic, closes her eyes again, so probably gonna miss. Then we see a slash for 3 frames. And then we see this explosion, right? This could either be the shockwave from throwing Kiryu up and, you know, the slam down, or it could be the completely other thing because of the Sakura that we see in that shot. That attack actually destroyed whatever was causing the red haze. This could be anything. Alright, this is the big one. This is a smartphone, and they're saying something that we've seen before. Have you ever wanted to visit a place that's a world apart from Mithra? This is also future tech because obviously this message is floating above the phone, and the phone unlocks before the person even reaches out and touches it, and they kind of hesitate. They reach out for it, the message appears and they're taken aback. They're surprised by this, which is why I'll get to this. No, I'll come back to this. All right. We see the Kanata, who is now landed on the planet. She probably fell through a tree. And we see that the gang have discovered her. Kiryu's a defeated JoJo villain. She's now a good guy, or at least chill with the good guys, or whoever they were. Classic Peko Miko winning billions of the lottery. I love how Miko's glasses are pink. And it sure is a death casino. This is definitely the same place as in the beginning, where we see the death statue, because, you know, the skull's in the background. Okay, so here. Obviously Shion has busted her head, fucking toppling a rock, a great foe for her. And now shipping fuel is happening as Rushia and the skeleton watch. The reason I don't think that was a model skeleton is because Rushia is a necromancer. Necromancers control the dead. So I'm thinking that might be the same exact skeleton. And it's a dead person, which means Coco either has killed somebody, has received a very strange donation, or let's just leave it at that. Then we see a frame of the pals enjoying some food and sake and tea. Fubuki's a big eater, because that is her like 10th bowl. But there's a lot of effort put into these scenes too. These scenes that seem to be stills, because as you can see, things are moving separately. There's little bits of motion blur and effects. Whoever the director is, give them a raise. Whoever the animators are, them too. Like, holy shit, dude. Then okay. I think this is the part where we start to tie it all together, alright? We've seen all these different stories. We've seen all this stuff happening. There's fighting, there's friendship, right? There's different fantasy worlds, you know, Hololive fantasy. We see Sora turn around to the camera and acknowledge the camera. There's a blink, right? Or you would think it's a blink. Or is it a phone camera? And then we see the massive sword, but old, or maybe we're just seeing it from a different angle, and we see Roboco's destroyed city to the right. And we do know Roboco's destroyed city isn't just like a future R world, because there's like magic crystals in it. Let me find it right here. There's crystals, same crystals as here at the end. So what does this mean? Well, think about whose perspective have we been seeing things from? Death. Mori Kariope is, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. I think she has a weird pronunciation. I don't know. I don't watch Hololive. She is the apprentice to death. And death, of course, awaits for everyone. So it makes sense that she would know their stories, which is why we get to see so many different worlds, so many different places, right? We get to see their moments where they experience, I guess, their mortality, right? And this picture, right? Mithra. Mithra makes an offer, and I think they might also be related to death somehow. Because this picture gets taken, and now you're in this other world. The world that seems to have, you know, death in it. That also explains this, right? This looks like a phone camera shutter, or a phone camera, what's it called, viewport. And then, you know, a picture is taken. Yeah. And you know, a world apart could be talking about death. You have, you know, angels, necromancers. For all I know, this whole story takes place in the afterlife, if there is an overarching story. Because it could be, I am reading way too deeply into this, right? It could be, and here's what I think. Taking pictures using phones, doesn't this sound a lot like a gacha game? And that's my theory. Everyone's expecting an anime, but what I think we got was a gacha opening, like an opening to a gacha game. We've got our collectible characters, we've got their personalities highlighted without very much context. We've got them doing cool things for people who like cool things. We've got them doing cute things for people who like cute things. And we've got quality animation to lure in suckers like me. Right? Like, I don't think it can make more sense than that. The interconnected world, the stories, I feel like, and forgive me for being too pessimistic, that this could be very, very well could be the beginning of the Hololive gacha. But that's all for me today. Thank you very much for attending my TED Talk, and make sure you press dislike and help motivate me to delete the video before you go. Thank you very much, and next time I will tell your family about what you've been watching on YouTube. Later.